Hey, what's going on? I actually just got to see a early screening of Fantastic Beasts 3, the forgettable third installment in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Now, obviously, Jovi is not here with me. He was preoccupied tonight. He did say he's going to watch it this weekend when it comes out and post his reaction then, but hopefully I can convince him not to spend his time with that because this movie's not that great. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Fantastic Beasts 3 got an early press screening to watch it. Thanks again to our friends over at the Grand Shucket for setting this up for us. Grand Shucket, stick around to the end. You're going to hear me talk about them. They're a great website, pop culture aficionados just like us. I'm going to leave their website in the description below, so definitely give that go ahead and check them out. Also, before I get started, just want to say, I don't usually say this. I think I said this on the last video we did. But if you wouldn't mind and you like this content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us. If you're not a content creator, you may not know this, but there's actually a lot we can't do with YouTube unless we hit a certain number of subscribers. So that'll definitely just be something to help us out. Definitely appreciate it. Now, let's talk about this movie. So when I remember when I watched Crimes of Grindelwald, right? Which is the second movie in this franchise. I remember being in the theater, and as things were happening with Ezra Miller's character Credence and Grindelwald and all that, I literally could not for the life of me remember what happened in the first movie. So I was kind of confused. But then, I just chalked that up to me not paying attention, right? So I go into this movie and I'm watching it, and for the life of me, I could not remember some of the things that happened in the second movie, which now leads me to believe that maybe this movie is just forgettable. Forgettable is going to be the theme here. Okay, so, and that's not to say, actually, that I disliked this movie. I actually think it's the best of the three to come out so far. But Secrets of Dumbledore, being the best of not very good, it's still not very good. But there are some things I like. I'm going to start with what I liked about this movie. First and foremost, I love the world. I'm a big Harry Potter Wizarding World fan. Like, not the theme park, but like the world. I just love the Wizarding World. Ever since, I started reading the first Harry Potter books, I just love the world J.K. Rowling built, and seeing it on screen, it doesn't disappoint me. I always have fun with it, seeing the spells and the magic devices and the magic creatures and just everything in this world of wizards and witches. It's really fun for me. This movie, you can tell when CGI is being used, but it's not bad CGI. So the effects and stuff, I thought that was cool. That's something I will say. I will give a positive to this movie. But the major thing, there are certain characters that just made the movie for me. First and foremost, Mads Mikkelson as Gellert Grindelwald. He's stepping into the shoes as the third guy to take this role. And I was thinking about it. I don't think this guy has had a bad role that I've seen him in. From, his Casino Royale to the wonderful Hannibal Lecter. If you haven't seen that, you gotta watch it. To even his turn in the MCU. I wasn't that big a fan of the movie, but he was good in it. And now this, as Grindelwald, he brings all the swagger and all the charisma needed for this role. And he makes it his own. And honestly, I think he is the best person to have played Grindelwald so far. There's also the Professor. She is just excellent in this movie. I wouldn't say scene stealer, but just like a notch below. She brings just so much confidence and so much comedy. And she brightens every scene that she's in. And she is, a defense against the dark arts witch. So she's whooping a whole bunch of people in this movie. Just seeing her flick her wrist with her wand and just cause havoc is amazing. It's amazing. Really liked her in this movie. And then, of course, we reach the actual scene stealer, the Baker. This guy, he has been the best part of this franchise from the beginning. since the first movie, he has been the one that you want to root for in this movie. And he continues in here, man. I mean, he has so much heart, so much comedy. There's just like, you can tell he's hurting and he wants to do the right thing. And it's just, he does a really good job at like I guess, being human as the Muggle in the movie. Really makes you really a character you want to root for. Did not disappoint in this movie at all. And then there are the rest. Notice how I didn't put the guy who's supposed to be the main character in that list, Newt Scamander. I mean, he's just, I don't know. Eddie Redmayne isn't bad as him, but he doesn't have any kind of charisma. He doesn't have any kind of edge. He's not funny. I mean, he's not really annoying either. He's just there. Like, he's just there. And that's really the rest of the cast too, including Dumbledore. Like, they're fine. They're just there. I mean, except there is one character that I did not like in this movie, but mainly because of how the movie treated him. I just saw this movie 2 hours ago. I don't even remember his name, mostly because the character mumbled it. He introduced himself twice, and both times he says, "My name is," and I'm sitting there like, I need the closed captions. What are you saying? It's the black guy. I will put him up. You've seen him in the trailer. He is not featured heavily in the movie, but when he is featured, it literally feels like a waste of time. I hated his character in this movie. I mean, he doesn't really have an arc. They just keep showing his face. He doesn't have too many lines. He looks sad. And then, I guess he has some sort of big moment in the end, but nobody in my theater cared. I didn't care. They could have, that's something you could have trimmed the fat on. They could have cut the movie by 10 or 15 minutes by just cutting him out of it. And I now realize I have gone into what I disliked about this movie. So let's rewind a bit. First off, there are several issues I have with this movie. First off, the title of it needs to be changed. It is not a Fantastic Beasts movie. Fantastic Beasts, they're featured in it. They have nothing to do with the story anymore. It is all about Grindelwald. That's it. It is his movie, and to their credit, the screenwriters and the directors seem to realize that. It's all about him. But the problem is, since he's the antagonist and not the protagonist, the movie's it's just not interesting. Even when he's on screen, it's not that interesting because he's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we don't see. And I think that's the main thing. I said forgettable is the theme. It's forgettable because it's not exciting. It's not an exciting movie. I mean, there are exciting moments, but they are few and far between. In this movie especially. But it's just been a running theme throughout throughout all the movies. I mean, I enjoyed the first one. I actually watched that recently. I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but like 3 days later, I mean, it's not a movie I'm going to talk about with my friends. Same with this movie. By the time I watch The Northman and whatever else comes out this month, I'm not going to be talking about Fantastic Beasts 3. Now, Grindelwald, like I said, Mads Mikkelsen, he does his job in this movie. But the story in this movie is just, it's so... again, forgettable, guys. I mean, so Grindelwald's plan in this movie is to basically win an election and become president, first of all, the way this election works, like the fact that wizards cannot find a way to counter like this basic type of election fraud that is shown in this movie, it borders on Fast and Furious unbelievable, but that's like a nitpick for me. Like I can't deal with it. But the story is just, you don't really care because the movie doesn't make you care. Like like I said, the magic is gone in this movie. In Harry Potter, there weren't a bunch of, like superhero level explosions or, cool fights or anything. It was just, you liked seeing the story of this kid and what was happening to him. Here, you really don't care. You're just going through the motions, man. I mean, you're waiting for the ultimate duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, but at this point, it's like, yo, do I even care to see that? I mean, you've drugged this out for so long that it's not really special anymore. And yeah, I mean, that's a good way to describe this movie. Not special. And it's a shame because, I mean, there's the what we want is there. Like, from Harry Potter book 1, whether you read it or you watched the first movie, you heard Albus Dumbledore, famous for his duel against Gellert Grindelwald. That is what we want to see, guys. And we do not need another 2 movies to get there. And again, that's the main problem with these movies. They just seem to drag along. I mean, so Grindelwald's main plan, what he actually wants is he wants to start a war between wizards and non-wizards because he thinks wizards should be the ruling class on the planet. He's basically Voldemort. I mean, and a lot of fanboys are going to hate me for that. I know they're different, but I mean, he's like the antagonist here. But Voldemort was so much more interesting. I mean, so in every Harry Potter, just the Harry Potter movies, you had the first one, Voldemort's trying to come back, he fails. The second one, okay, Voldemort has another way to come back, he fails. The third one, oh, there's a prisoner who used to serve Voldemort, maybe he's going to help him come back. The fourth one, oh, there's a Goblet of Fire, there's a tournament, and we don't know how Voldemort's going to use it. So it's like every movie had a different story that fed into the whole. In Harry, you saw him go from year 1 to 2 to 3, all the way up to 7. And there are moments in these movies I remember, like, because they're memorable. There are no moments in any of these movies, in any of these Fantastic Beasts movies I'm going to remember. I mean, Grindelwald's plan has been to start this war since the first movie. It's the third movie, he still hasn't done anything. Like, what is going on here? Like, imagine if in Harry Potter, Voldemort got the Philosopher's Stone in the first movie. And then in the second movie, he's like, I have the Philosopher's Stone. I'm going to use it to bring back my body, and I'm going to take revenge. Then in the third movie, he says, once I use the Philosopher's Stone to get my body back, I'm going to take my revenge. Would you not start to wonder, like, yo, what is the holdup here? What are you doing? And that's the main thing with Grindelwald. It's not cool. I've been talking a lot about Grindelwald, but this movie is called Secrets of Dumbledore. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know, Ezra Miller's character is actually related to Dumbledore. That was a complete waste in this movie. I'm not going to really give away too many spoilers, just know that character, Credence, as much time was spent on him in the first 2 movies, with Grindelwald chasing him and Newt and Dumbledore chasing him. The payoff here is just, it's not great. It's actually so bad, it makes me think that the writers are writing this story as they go along and realize that they don't really have much for this character to do. Kind of like the recent Star Wars trilogy. So Ezra Miller, like, it was just, I don't blame him, but his character, he doesn't need to be in any more movies. And then Jude Law's Dumbledore. I mean, again, what do we want to see? We want to see him and Grindelwald fight. And you thought at the end of the last movie, I swear, they set it up so they could fight. But still in this movie, there's like a spell that's preventing them from harming each other. I feel that spell could have been, they could have resolved whatever they needed to do in the last movie, at the end of the last movie. But the entire movie this time, like, it's basically, they can't make a move against each other, so they're using other people to make moves against each other, which could have been interesting, but again, is executed very poorly. I mean, I could go on, but hopefully you get the point that it's a movie, like, while you're watching it, you'll be like, wow, I'm in the wizarding world. You'll be into it. The second you leave the theater, it is going to go out of your mind. You're not going to think about it again. You're not going to talk to your friends about it, and you're really not going to remember this movie until the fourth one comes around and you have to rewatch this to remember all the stuff that happened. So yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, this movie it's not, again, I think it's the best of the 3. It's not horrible, but I would give this movie a 3 out of 5. It's not the same kind of 3 as Ambulance was. I was much more excited watching Ambulance. Probably just because that was much more of a surprise to me. But this movie, I mean, I'm not going to be talking about this movie next week. So take that for what you will. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Fantastic Beasts 3, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Did you like it? Did you like it more or less than I did? And what has been your favorite movie in this entire Harry Potter franchise? Let us know in the comments. Let's start a Discord. And until next time, I'm out. Shout out to our friends over at the Grand Shucket. They really do hold it down, and if you don't know who they are, you will definitely want to. So go check out their website at thegrandshucket.com. There you will find all you will ever need in the world of anime, manga, TV shows, movies, books, comic books, video games. They have it all in one nice, simple, consolidated space. They post written reviews on all that stuff, and they have several hundred episodes of podcasts that are, quite frankly, hilarious. So go ahead, check out their website. Again, thegrandshucket.com, and also give them a follow on Twitter. That way you will never not be in the know.